Welcome to the Smart Influencer Podcast. I'm Christina,
And I'm Corinne.
and together we help digital entrepreneurs streamline their businesses, maximize revenue, and finally feel in control of their time.
Every week, we share real world strategies, proven systems, and expert interviews to help you grow your influence and income without the burnout. So, if you're ready to get smarter about how you run your business, you're in the right place.
Now, before we dive in, if you love what you hear, be sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you find today's conversation helpful, share it with a friend who could use it too.
So, today it's Christina and I again. No guest. But today we are talking about like what to do when you feel like quitting, right? We've all had this, and people are having it a lot lately. We actually did it with a couple of our sites. We were like ready to sell them and get rid of them. So, yeah. So when you feel like quitting, if like what we're doing, right? Like what to do
Yeah.
instead to like with the goal of staying in the industry. So there's nothing wrong. Like it's not going to be a criticism of anybody that makes the
No,
decision to get out.
no judgment here.
Right. But if you're just in one of those, like it's like a roller coaster. We're up and we're down. If you're in a down state, how to get yourself back on the up
Yeah.
track.
So, Corinne and I have been in this game for a long time. I started in 2010. I think you started, what, 2009? Like right around the
13.
same, 13. Like
Yeah.
we're about the same time. So,
Yeah.
we're like part of the OGs here. So, we've been through it all the ups, all the downs, all the new technology that's, come around. Pinterest wasn't even a thing when I started. That kind of gives you some context as to where we're at. So, we've ridden the roller coaster. We've been on the high highs and the low lows.
Yeah.
And there's just some things you learn along the way. And I think so. Yesterday was one of the days when I felt like quitting. Nothing was going right. Nothing went right. And let's face it, we're in that time now where there's so much, I don't want to use the word turmoil, but like there's just so much chaos going on right now. Nobody knows what's happening.
Let's dissect for a second about like what happens when you get to that state of feeling like you want to quit. Like I know the times that like it's occurred to me are times when I am doing like it, maybe you've like had a phase where like you were just kind of burnt out and tired and you weren't doing it. So for me, that's not usually when I'm thinking of quitting. For me, it's always right after that when I've decided to rebound a little and I start like doing all the things and you don't get the feedback. You don't get the positive and feedback from all the effort that you're putting in. And that's when it starts to feel like, and I know I use these examples a lot, but probably because I've struggled with it. Like when I get off the track of working out or eating right, like, and then you start to work out, but you're not seeing gains, or you start to like tighten everything down and the scale won't move. Like that's the same thing. Like then you just want to throw in your, like, why bother, right? Like, why bother? That to me is when I've thought about quitting, where like I finally like rallied a little bit and I'm putting out content and I'm pinning and doing all this stuff and my traffic's still falling. That's
Right.
when I feel like maybe it's time to move on. Um, but I think other people it hits different. Like for you,
Yeah.
occur.
For me, it's more I've overworked myself. Like I've really just put it all out there and I tend to, I know you talk about like the bullet train.
Hmm.
I tend to be like that too. Like I just work and I'm just burnt out. I'm not even looking at the results at this point. It's just that like the tank is empty. I have nothing left to give. I guess yeah, I am looking at results. I'm just not seeing results. I'm just done.
Yeah.
I'm just done. I felt like that last night. Like when I sat down, I had such a rough day yesterday. Nothing was working for me technology wise. Every single thing that had to be plugged into the wall, if it had to be plugged into the wall to work, if it required juice from a battery or a plug, it stopped working for me yesterday. And I had just had enough,
Right.
enough. And by the time I sat down, I'm like, my husband asked me to do something. I'm like, I have like no juice left in the
Right.
tank. Like I can't do anything else right now. I'm done.
Right.
And that's when I feel like, is this really worth it? And
Right.
am I really getting the value out of my business for the effort that I'm putting in? And I will say that this problem is me because I've pushed myself too hard,
Right. Right.
and that's the problem.
And I think this then like leads really well into like what like when we step out emotion, step out of the emotion and look at it logically, where we end up and why we're still in the business. Because when
Right.
you get to that point, like if you can get out of the emotion and you look at it objectively, usually you got there because, and I speak like same thing has happened to me. You got there because you weren't prioritizing correctly. Like everything seemed
Yeah.
important. You forgot to triage and like focus on the 20%, right? Like that will
Right.
drive the results. So like you let too much be on your, I just did it. This happened the other day. I was in this is going to be probably overly candid, but apparently that's just how I am, right? Like, because I had a mental breakdown, like truly a nervous breakdown in the fall, because of personal matters. And because of that, learned all of these coping skills, did a lot of therapy. And I've gotten really good since then of being able to use those tools if I can
Yeah.
feel it coming, if I know that I'm starting to get overwhelmed. Well, I missed it. Like I missed something the other day, like something that was a trigger that I wasn't looking for it to be a trigger. And so I
Right.
couldn't employ those tactics, those strategies that I had. And I ended up in crisis mode. But thanks to the therapy and everything, I had a crisis plan. And I reached out to the person that's like my person that I'm supposed to go to when that happens. And I just like texted crisis. And I'm going somewhere with this, I promise. So she called me immediately and said,
Right.
"What is it? Get it all out," right? Like the brain dump, right? Like this was the brain dump.
Yeah.
Like, tell me everything that's stressing you out right now. Why are you in the spiral, right? And I did. I threw it all out. And then she just started to pick things out. She's like, "That's not a you problem. That's not a you problem. That's a thing you have to keep on your plate. Why did that person tell you you have to
Hmm.
do this thing?" I'm like, "No, actually they were trying to help with it, but I like emotionally
Yeah.
took responsibility for it."
Right.
And like sometimes that's all you need is that outside perspective, or if you're capable of doing it yourself. But for me, when I get emotional, it's hard for me. So I need that extra person to come in. But that's all you need to do is look at that list and be like, this wasn't as important as I thought it was. This
Yeah.
thing that's been stressing me out wasn't supposed to be on the list in the first place. And I feel like that clears a lot of it. Like that was
Hmm.
all it took the other day to take me from spiral, like I'm about to, be in another nervous breakdown. Someone's gonna have to take me somewhere to, I've got this. Like,
Yeah.
and it was a 5-minute conversation, maybe 10. Maybe
Yeah.
that was it.
Brain dumps are, I feel like they are cathartic.
Yes.
They can really help you through those times, especially when you're in that situation like you were in, or like I was in, where I just felt like there was just way too much. And I didn't know what to go. I always describe it as in my head, there's like this cyclone spinning around with all the things. And then I just reach up and grab something, and it's like, okay, this is what I have to do now. And it's not priority. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just whatever I feel like
Whatever the
grabbing, or
easiest thing to snag at
yeah,
that.
whatever gets grabbed. And that doesn't help the situation, because it's like you said, it's not a priority, or it's somebody else's priority and you've made it your
You've
priority.
made it. You feel like it.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like it's really helpful to have, like in this case, I had like a crisis partner, right? But like in business, when we're talking about like,
Yeah.
if I come back to the topic at hand, right? Like it's for me, it might be you if we're a business.
Right.
Like, hey, this is what I've decided is important today. Talk to me about why I'm right or wrong, right? Like we
Yeah.
do that a lot, right? Like talk
Yeah.
me out of this. This is where I feel like masterminds are helpful. If you guys
Right.
have a mastermind, like some little group of people that you can come to that, like that can hear, like they understand what you do, because that's important. I think
Right.
what we do is very different from other careers. So they understand what you do. They understand you, like you have that closeness with them. They understand you and how you work.
Yeah.
Sometimes that is enough. So if you're listening and you like feel like quitting, like find your people. Go
Yeah.
find your people and
Or
talk it
find your person.
or your person. It can
Start with one.
um, but sometimes that's all it takes is to brain dump to them and let them help you prioritize if you're having a hard time doing that, like
Yeah.
seeing what needs to be done versus what doesn't.
I'm
So
also going to say this is a great use for ChatGPT,
true.
right? You can, and I've done this.
Mhm.
So one of my big stressors has always been like, I 5 notebooks, 42 post-it notes, all these little scraps of paper, right? I have a system that's broken, that doesn't work. So I literally sit and I just word vomited into ChatGPT. This is what I'm doing. This is why I think this works. This is why this doesn't work. So I would do this with my cyclone of things. Here's what I have on my plate. All the things. And literally, no, I don't care about punctuation. I don't care about capitalization. I don't care about spelling. I'm just typing in a list. This is what's going on. This is what I have. Help me make rhyme or reason of this. What should I focus on? Where does my focus need to be right now? And what I love about it is it's a robot. So it removes all emotion, all everything from it, and it's just giving you facts.
You know, I have not used it for this, but I can see it being really effective every once in a while when I've got a long list of things, like a brained up type of thing. And like I've only done it for that step one, is I'll put it in voice mode so I can just talk it because I
Yeah.
talk much faster than I type. So I will talk it. Then I like to read it though. I don't like it to talk back to me. So
Yeah.
I take it out of voice mode after I'm done talking. And like I could see that being very helpful. Take everything I put and create a list for me, prioritize it.
Yeah.
I've never
Tell
done
me
that.
what to do.
Yeah. But
What should
that,
be my focus today? And we are our own bosses. So these deadlines and these ridiculous parameters we put on ourselves, we
yeah,
put on ourselves.
yeah,
We do that. So if you don't do it, who's going to yell at you? Now,
right,
granted, if it's client work, that's different. You do have, contracts and things that you need
right.
to uphold. But for the most part, when we have these aggressive content publishing plans and all these things we need to do, it's ourselves putting that pressure on us. So sometimes you just have to realize that and be like, self, I'm going to give you some grace today. Go
Yeah.
sit out in the sunshine.
Although I do think for certain personality types, and I think I'll speak for me, but I think both of us might have this, that like
Yeah.
part of like I think part of what makes you work as an entrepreneur is being able to
Yeah.
assign things to yourself and follow through.
Right.
So I think for me, there's always a fear that if I relax the standard, that I won't have a way to force myself back into discipline.
Right.
So yeah, you got to show yourself some grace, but like find your line, right?
Yeah.
Find your line.
You can't be Grace all the time.
Right. Yeah. Those are the people that end up then becoming contractors or going back to work because
Right.
they, can't impose enough of their own um,
Yeah.
strict guidelines.
So
Say, oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
good.
I was going to say, like, for me, then, because I'm results oriented, like, that's where I get to the quitting mode. The thing that, like, I have to come back to, and it's a mindset thing that I have to remind myself of, is that, like, SEO is a great example, which it's a terrible example right now because I feel like SEO is like, that's a guessing game at the moment.
Yeah.
It used to be much more reliable. But SEO, like that was one of the things where you could craft really good posts and be following all the best practices, and you were not going to see the results for a good 6 months,
Yeah.
at least.
Right.
And so the things that we're doing today, like what you're seeing now, is typically indicative of what your strategy was 3 to 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So if you're doing it now and you're not seeing immediate results, you shouldn't like you're not. You're what you're seeing is what you did 3 to 6 months ago.
Right.
And I
Right.
have to remind myself of that, like to be patient, which is not
Yeah.
not something that comes naturally to me. But because stuff moves in our world so fast, I think we're thinking, well, if I pull this lever, then I should get X result. And although things move fast, that's not how our results move.
Right. I was just going to say that, though it's almost like an oxymoron, though. Although the technology thing and ideas move fast, the implementation sometimes works at a snail's pace. And it's almost like, that scene in Polar Express when they're like the train's careening across the ice and he goes and he pulls the lever to stop
Yes.
and it just takes
It's forever.
forever to get this freight train to stop and change its
Yeah.
direct, like do something different. That's like where we're at. You pull that lever and it's going to take a hot minute for things to happen. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That is okay. I am an immediate response person. I am very impatient. If I do something, I want to see the results immediately. So that's a very hard thing for me to adjust to.
Same.
But I mean, I've been in this game a long time. I know that's how it works. So I always tell myself, my advice to myself all the time is, Chris, head down, eyes forward, just keep plugging away. Like I can't be
Right.
focusing on the nonsense around me. I have to just keep working towards my goal.
Well, I wish I reference her so often. I just need to look it up. So I've always got her name right here. But with the podcast guest that we had, that talked about like productivity and getting stuff done. And she's like, you need to trick your brain into get like you need to give it different
Yeah.
dopamine hits, right? Like you need to give yourself micro wins throughout the day. And I think
Yeah.
what I'm doing when I'm looking at results and thinking I'm not getting the results is I'm looking for the big traffic jump, the big
Right.
revenue jump. But if you look closely, like in real time, if I've done something this week and I'm looking next week at the results, I'm not going to see the traffic doubled, but you might see a 1% uptick. Like
Right.
that's something to like that's a sign that it's working, right? Like it is a sign. So like changing what like the metric that you're looking at, or at least
Right.
quantity that you're looking for, and like recognizing the wins for the wins.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely. So don't quit.
yeah,
Or, I mean, and if you do decide you want to quit, that's okay too. So I shouldn't say that.
right.
But before you decide to quit, just look at the reasoning for it. And is it something you're feeling just right now? Or has this been something that's been building for you? Because sometimes we do, we realize we need a change. And here's,
Right.
here's when I always know when I need a change. And I need to change something, is I find myself scrolling LinkedIn looking for jobs.
I know it's only happened a couple of times since
I
Christine and
know.
I've been partners, but like I go into panic mode because I'm like, oh my gosh, like
I
one of
know.
my
I'm looking
greatest
for a
joys in
job.
what I do is about to leave.
Yeah. And then I'm like, no, I could never do that. It's just not in my DNA. Like I think I'm just an entrepreneur by through
Yeah,
genetics. Like my father was like a serial entrepreneur and I feel like I've got that gene. But that's how I know. Like that's my trigger for myself that I know something's out of whack. I'm feeling disenfranchised with something. I
right,
don't know what it is. I need to figure that out and I just need a hard reset. And
right.
it's okay to take that time. And sometimes it's just, I literally have to walk away. Just
Yeah,
walk away from it all, shut it down, find an activity, something you can do that like resets your brain,
right.
whatever that is. And that dopamine hit doesn't have to come from your business. It can come from
True,
something in your personal life, right?
true.
Find that dopamine hit that's just going to change that chemical reaction happening in your head
Right,
and go with that. But if you do feel like quitting, that's perfectly fine. There is no judgment. I
right.
mean,
No,
you
nobody
play the
says you
game.
have to stay in this. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of what we do is that you get to make these decisions
Yeah.
for yourself and for your family. I
Yes.
will say, like, when you're weighing, I guess the thing that I would caution, like, I, let me say it different because I don't want to caution anyone. Like, again, no judgment on how you make your decisions. The times I think that it's hurt my heart to see someone leave our industry is the time that I thought, I think given another month, right? Like
Right.
one more month, if they had
Hmm.
just stuck it out, they they would have turned the corner on where they were.
Right.
Like so there's no judgment because we don't know what bills you have to pay. We don't know what other burdens you carry. And if it's too much, it's too much and you can make that decision. But I think the people that stay in the industry and manage to weather these storms tend to view them as this is just another puzzle I need to solve.
Right.
That's all that it is. Like it feel
Right.
like we had the guest that talked about how these different waves occur and we're in a new wave. But if you are like, okay, well, I've still got my surfboard. I know like I just need to look for the next opening, right? Like to me it's just a puzzle. Like I'd like to look at what's happening in the industry and given my best self,
Yeah.
given the one that's emotionally grounded and thinking straight, I know I can see the way forward. If you have that vision in your head and you think you can get there, it may not be time to get out yet.
Yeah.
And then that's what this is that's what we're trying to talk about today then. Is so once you've identified that this it is a space you want to be in, you just don't see the way forward. These are the things you do,
And I
right?
think
Like
that that's where your person comes into play. So it could
yes.
be a business, your person could be a business person, or it can be just a personal, like somebody who you're close to in your personal side of your life. Just somewhere where you can call and or text whatever and just brain dump all the things. This is how I'm feeling about my business. This is what's going on in my personal life. I don't feel like I can move forward with the business. Do you think this is just temporary or
Right.
like help me sort it out? And like sometimes having that objectivity because we don't have that when we're stuck in the moment
Right.
and everything feels like a crisis, it it really gives you some clarity. And especially if you have that friend, like I have that friend who's going to tell me for real. And she's going to like smack me across the face like in Moonstruck and like be snap out of it. Like
Right.
you need to XYZ because she knows I don't always need the there,
Right.
everything's gonna be okay. I don't need, there are times when I do just need like a quick pet on my shoulder and tell me
Right.
everything's gonna be okay. But then there's times when I need the smack across the face and just like stop scrolling LinkedIn
Right.
and go create some content.
Right. Yeah,
So
you need your person, and if you don't have a person, and that's okay too, because people enter our lives when they enter
yeah,
ChatGPT, we're not saying this as a replacement person, but for the purpose of getting all this out of your head where you're telling
yeah,
yourself stories that, you're locked into your own belief systems and things that are messing you up, get it out somewhere where it can be objectively presented
yeah,
back to you.
yeah.
And
Especially
really,
when you
that is a
can't,
huge thing.
yeah, when you can't see the forest through the trees,
Yeah.
it's a good fallback plan.
Yeah.
But so there's a couple tools. I hope that you found our honesty and vulnerability because it truly is. I mean, this is how we are. We're not sugarcoating anything. I mean, it happens and it's happened.
Yeah,
There
honestly, I
was a
would.
time, I'm going to be completely brutally honest here. There was a time in my life when my father passed away. And I tried to just stop crying because it's been like years and years and years, but I still cry whenever I talk about him. But I couldn't work for 6 months.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I couldn't open my laptop. I don't know what it was. Like just mentally, I was done.
Yeah.
I was done. And look, I'm tearing up. I can't even. But I gave myself that grace. And after that 6 months, I'm like, you know what? Here I come back. My business, it didn't, thankfully, it didn't suffer too bad.
Yeah.
Like there were systems in place and things happened. And I had client work going on at the time. And I just had to reach out to those clients and be like, listen, I had this death in my family and it like rocked me to my core. And I came back and just had to go put your best foot forward and keep plugging on and pick up where I left off. But, sometimes when you experience those things, it's tough, but there is a way through it.
And in general, I don't know. I think we've talked about this before because we are kind of in a lonely field. Thank goodness for Zoom and for
Yeah,
conferences, and you can get, in the online space, you can connect with people. It is, you do most of your work at home alone at your desk, right? Like,
right.
truly. But like in general, I feel like because we all are like that, people crave connection. And
Mhm.
yeah, so like, yeah, in the fall when I like basically disappeared for what, a month and a half, 2 months,
Yeah,
my the people that are close to me that I have to work with knew what was going on. And it was that was very nice to be able to step away and not have to worry about that part of it. Like people knew what was happening. They're like, okay, she's gonna go do her thing and
yep.
process. Like, yeah, I remember at one point, like we had business stuff that we had to clear, and you're like, okay, like I'm not, I'm not rushing you. Just wanted to like get some of this out there. Like, and it was nice to know, like, okay, like I could
Yeah,
ease back in.
yeah,
And people in our industry, like I'm sorry for the people that don't have that impression of our industry.
yeah.
There are some bad players in anything.
Or if people feel like they don't have that access, like
Yeah,
they don't have that in their lives, you do.
you do.
Like I think our industry is very good and just if you find somebody that you're somewhat close to in our industry, reach out to them and I'm sure, you can find somebody who can help you through that and help you
Right.
think through this stuff. So when you feel like quitting, there are ways around it, but like we said, no judgment if you decide that that's your route,
But if you
more
decide you
power
want to
to
stick
you.
around, we hope some of these tips like
Yeah.
help you. Like find a friend, find a person,
Yeah.
get it all out, brain dump it out, prioritize, figure out what really needs to be done because I guarantee having been through this cycle more than once, you are making yourself
Yeah.
responsible for many things that don't need to be on your list. Like you think they're
Yeah.
important now and they feel important, but when you look at them objectively, they're not.
Yep.
Um, and we had a fourth tip in there, and now I can't remember what it was.
Well,
There's something else. I have
there's
to,
something else.
yeah.
We hope you heard it.
I hope you heard it because I'm forgetting
Like I
it.
said, we keep it real around here. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. If you want to take action about anything we talked about, we encourage you to go out and find your person. Um, and definitely try to implement the things you learned, especially when you're feeling like you're in that moment where you want to quit.
Yes, and we would love to hear from you. So tag us on Instagram at the Smart Influencer with your biggest takeaway from today, or drop us a DM or email us because that's actually where we check, and let us know how you're applying what you learned.
Yeah. And thanks for spending time with us today. We'll be back next week with another episode to help you grow smarter, work less, and earn more. See you then.